you for joining me today. Today I thought I'd share with you how I created the card in a box. It's a cute sized one. It fits perfectly in a C6 envelope. And I've had several people messaging me for dimensions and bits and pieces, so I thought, why not create a video so you can all watch me make it. Right, so this one, it's quite stamp product heavy, but you can adapt it obviously to the products that you're using. So I'm going to show you completely how I recreate this one, but you can just take the measurements off my blog post and recreate it in whatever DSP and stamp sets you have to hand. Right, so to make the base of the card, you need 2 pieces of cardstock. I'm just gonna get my trimmer out, which measure 16.5, which in inches is 6.5 inches by 10 centimeters, which is, you could use 4 inches because it's pretty much at 4 inches. So that's those 2. Those 2 you also need to score, and you need to score at 1 centimeter and 11.5, and then you need to turn it and score it through the middle at 5 centimeters or 2 inches. And then again the same, so scoring it exactly the same from one to the other, 1 centimeter and 11.5, and then through the middle at 5 centimeters. So that's the base for the actual outside of the card box. And then inside you need a piece which measures, oh, not quite long enough, 13.5 by 5 centimeters, which I did it just a smidgen under 5 centimeters, so it doesn't come quite to the top. And then you're going to score this piece on either end at 1.5 centimeters. All these measurements, if you're trying to scrap and write down measurements, all the measurements will be linked on the blog post, which is linked in the description box below. Right, so I'm just going to bone fold out all my score lines. So that is you can see that's going to be the inside piece. Just bone fold out all these score lines. And same again for this piece. Now you need to trim some bits away. So we're going to make this the top. So we're going to lose this corner. We're also going to cut down this score line here to the score line that goes across. Now I always like to cut the score line out completely. And then you see this one is then going to attach onto here. So we're just going to trim that and lose that corner. And the same again, cut down on this one down to the score line. And I cut that whole piece out. So now we're ready to start putting the box together. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on this flap, which is going to adhere to that flap the other side. So just when you're just sticking them together, just make sure that your score lines meet up nicely. Just going to fold that over. And then this little tab here, you're going to stick around to there. And again, just making sure my score lines meet up nicely. So you have something that now looks like that. We now need to add our DSP. So I'm going to just get the trimmer back in. DSP. Whoops, I'm chucking things about. Things that I need. So for the back, you need a piece of DSP which measures 10 centimeters wide by 9.5. Now, if you're cutting a directional paper, you want to make sure you cut all your pieces the right way around. So that is going to be our back piece. And then we need a piece for the two sides and the front. Whether this will fit on this, it needs to be 10 centimeters by 4.5 for the front. Oh my word, that was spot on. So that's going to go on there. And then the two side pieces, they don't fit. I thought that was too good to be true. The two side pieces need to measure 4.5 by 4.5. So I'm going to cut at 9 and then cut that in half at 4.5. Like I said, don't worry about trying to jot all your measurements down because they are all listed on my blog post. Right, so let's attach these to our card box. If you watch this back and then think, well, actually, I can add the DSP before you put it together, you can. It's really easy just to pop that inside there. There. Got the bits to go on the side. There. I love this. The papers I'm using are the heartwarming hugs, and I must say this stripe is my favourite. So I just pop in a little bit of adhesive on there. I'm attaching that. So that's the main all covered. Now, panel for the back. I've pre-stamped this, which I've stamped it with warm wishes from Our Home to Yours, Happy Holidays. And those stamps are from the Poinsettia Petals stamp set. And this piece of Whisper White cardstock measures 10.5 by 9.5. And I'm going to attach that now. Just lining that up. So that is that piece. So I've got a couple of little embellishments to add that I've so I've got a little Happy Christmas, which this Happy Christmas, I love this little Happy Christmas, the font. It's from the Warm Hug stamp set. And just grab some dimensionals. Right. A bit low on dimensionals here. Don't worry, I have a secret stash. I'm not really that low on dimensionals. It's got to be something that I order every time I do an order. I put a pack of dimensionals on. Can you imagine running out of dimensionals? It would be the worst thing, wouldn't it? Right, so last time when I made added the embellishment, the sentiment, sorry, I added a bow, but then I realised that actually I got caught out the other week when I sent some cards to some pen pals. Oh, that's not very central. And because my card was quite thick, they cost me £4 each to post, which is quite a bit. So I'm conscious now. And the ones that I posted the other day without the bow went on normal stamps, so it was a lot more cost effective for me. And I've pre-heat embossed this Surround Yourself in the Love of the Season, which I've heat embossed on grey granite cardstock. And this little greeting is from the Wrapped in Christmas stamp set, which I have added a little bit of, I'm just going to put a little bit of tape runner behind it. Oh, my tape runner's being silly. Isn't it funny? I use this all the time and it's lovely. And then when I go to use it in a video, it plays up. So just put a little bit of tape runner on the back there because I find it easier. I'm using a bit of silver metallic thread. Now this is retired. It is in what I've got in my stash because I did maybe stock up a little bit on this stuff because I love it. I'm just putting that on the back there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of dimensionals on there. I added that onto the top corner. Right, now I'm ready to add my inside piece, which I used, when I added it, I used tape runner because I found it was less messy. So I just sort of folded them in. I attached one on one side, and then what I wanted it to do is I wanted it to naturally stick, which I can kind of see there. I kind of sort of semi, and then just let it sit where it wants to sit. There we go. So now I'm ready to colour my Santa to go inside. I get so many bits and pieces when I'm doing these videos. I always seem to end up with a really messy desk. So the colours I used for my Santa are grey granite, light petal pink and real red. I've got a pre-stamped Father Christmas here. I stamped him on Whisper White cardstock. Whisper White cardstock, and then I used Memento ink. I had a mind blank then. Right, so let's colour. So I always sort of lay down my dark first. And I tend to lay all my dark down first and then go back. I've coloured so many. Pretty much all my Christmas cards this year have been with this Santa. I just love him. I'm not sure if you should colour up into that bit, but I have this time. So that's all my dark laid down. And then I go back in over the top with my light. And I always seem to do circular motions with my light. And then sometimes if I feel that I need a little bit darker, I go in then and add a little bit more. I think I've actually used the wrong red this time. I have. I actually coloured him in Cherry Cobbler. Whoops. Well, this one's got a really red. It's fine. So actually I used Cherry Cobbler, not real red, because I got confused because the paper is real red. So that's why I've whoopsied and picked up. He looks cute still though. So yeah, if I now think, well actually I want a little bit more darker areas, I just go in and just add a little bit more of the dark real red marker or Cherry Cobbler, whatever you choose to use. Then I gave him sort of a little bit of a vintagey look, so I just added some, this is the dark cherry, it's not Cherry Cobbler at all, it is grey granite. So I added, and then I just go over and just soften those lines, excuse me, with the colour lifter. Just to take the harsh lines off of, and I'm not colouring the hole in, I'm just literally just adding just little highlights around his cuffs and across the top of his hat. And that colour lifter really does, if I bring it closer you can really see, using that colour lifter, it just takes that harsh line off. His eyebrows I've done there in dark grey granite. I used the light grey granite just to do some little dots and little lines on his glove. And then to colour in his beard, I didn't really colour the whole image in, so I'm just using the grey granite in light just to lay down some colour. And now some dark. And you know what I'm going to do? I then just blended it. Oh, I forgot his lip. Just colouring his lip there. I assume it's his lip. I think it is. And then again, I just used the colour lifter just to take off some of that ink and just to blend it slightly. Not being overly careful. I go through a lot of colour lifters, as you can imagine. So there he is, all nicely coloured. And then I just fussy cut him out with my paper snips. Just sort of, there's sort of no straight lines. I sort of followed my wiggliness with my colouring. I'm almost glad there isn't a die for this, because you'd want it to be quite ragged round his, because he is sort of just a portrait head of him. So you wouldn't want him to be, it's where hand cutting you can be a little bit more, go round all your lines of your colouring, because I actually like that it's not completely smooth. You can see here on this one I sort of followed I followed my colouring lines. Right, and then to add him inside the box, card box, I added just a little bit of adhesive on the bottom. And then I popped him to the right hand side. Now just watch him when I go in there. So don't put your glue too high. I'm just going to have to use my colour lifter just to blend that line there. It's not as soft as I'd want it. There we go. And just double push that, and then if you just close it, you can then get a good grip on that. And there you have it. That is my card in a box. It's nice and flat for posting. Nice big area on the back to write on. If you want to add a bow, like I did on my original, I used the grey granite shimmer ribbon, which I might just add a little neat bow there, but I've got to be careful because this one is going to America. So I don't want to add too much thickness and get caught out by the post office again. Like I said, all the instructions and dimensions and everything are on my blog post. The link is in the bottom box. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you got this far, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you get a notification when I next upload a video. Thanks again. Bye bye.